Gunpowder Milkshake. Man, now I want a milkshake. I want to feel like a little kid again. Somebody get me a Slurpee or a milkshake. Bring it over here now. Anywho, Gunpowder Milkshake is out on Netflix now. It stars a plethora of actresses, some really great actresses too, including Karen Gillan, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino, Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh. Out of everybody, Paul Giamatti is also in this movie. I'll talk more about Paul Giamatti and what his role and the role of his organization is in a little bit. In her turbulent life as a professional assassin, Scarlett was cruelly forced to abandon her daughter Sam and go on the run. Years later, despite the estrangement, Sam has also grown up into a cold-blooded hitwoman. After a high-stake mission spins out of control, putting an innocent 8-year-old girl in the middle of a gang war she has unleashed, Sam has no choice but to go rogue. This ultimately leads her back to her mother and her former hitwoman sidekicks, who all join forces in an avenging war against those who took everything from them. As a leading actress in this movie, Karen Gillan kicks a lot of ass. It's like Nebula meets Ruby Roundhouse, but more Ruby Roundhouse from Jumanji style. She's just kicking everybody's ass, shooting them, kicking them, punching them, you name it. Anything Ruby Roundhouse would do or old school Nebula would probably not do, honestly. She's doing in this movie, and she does a lot of her own stunts. She's got a lot of physicality. We've seen this from Karen Gillan before, and it's what makes her a really good physical actress. What I liked about the action sequences is that they have her character utilize a lot of different props. There'll be a chair with like lunch trays like strapped to the back, like metal lunch trays, so that she can use it as like body armor from like shotgun shells. That was really interesting. Because the action scenes used a lot of props like that, and used the locations to their advantage. For instance, props in a parking garage, including one of those lifts that may or may not create some ultra-violent, bloody deaths, are used to their advantage, and it adds for a flair of entertainment when you're watching the action sequences. It's not just Karen Gillan kicking ass with her physicality, it's her physicality mixed with the use of props and locations that makes the action sequences watchable, fun, and entertaining for the most part, not to mention the fact that they're all in frame. Thank God action movies are getting this thing right. The rest of the movie was just style over substance, though. That's what most of this felt like to me. It just felt like it was trying to be like, oh hey, there's a lot of cool action movies out there now, like John Wick. Everybody loves John Wick. Let's just try and be John Wick, because I was definitely getting John Wick vibes from this movie. This movie tries to create a world, and it thinks it creates a world, but there's not a lot of real world building. I mean, you can have subtle world building. Take the first John Wick, for example. There was subtle world building in that. It didn't build the world entirely. I mean, we've learned about the gold coins, that you can cash those in for favors, and the Continental Hotel, where you can't conduct business on Continental grounds. By business, we mean killing other hitmen and assassins on Continental grounds. And then the second one expands that with the whole medallion thing, with the blood pact, and then the third one expands on that with the adjudicator and the high table and the elder. All of that in John Wick, that each movie was able to add something new to the franchise in terms of how it was building its world. Gunpowder Milkshake feels like it is trying to build a world, but never actually builds that world. This organization that Karen Gillan's character works for, I don't even remember her name, and I said it out in the open what her character's name was. I forget. Is it Sam? Yeah, I think it's Sam. This organization that Sam works for is called The Firm. It is led by Paul Giamatti. How does this thing operate? Where are they? What is The Firm? Oh wait, I figured out what The Firm is. It is a 1993 movie starring Tom Cruise. That is what The Firm is. To my knowledge, that is what The Firm is, because the movie never actually really tells us what The Firm is. Just like, oh, this company that she works for, and now they're kind of going after her because she made a really terrible decision on a job, and now they have to go and get her, bring her back alive, but Paul Giamatti might have some other aspirations with her. It didn't really work for me, and even with the action being as entertaining as it was, it felt like that was prioritized to create a certain style rather than actually tell a compelling story and try and incorporate some world building into the movie. The story here is very minimal, and it was something that I was not really expecting. I thought that this was going to be a really interesting take on a revenge thriller or a revenge action movie, and it really just felt like the characters in this movie had nothing to really do. It just felt like we went from point A and we were just stuck at point A for most of the movie, and then we slowly crept towards point B, when we get to about an hour and 20 minutes in, and then we finally get to point C. We finally get to the ending point of the movie, but I don't want to say it necessarily took forever for something to happen. I just think it didn't feel like anything of interest actually happened. Because the movie starts off really interesting. There's a really cool backstory that is set up with Russian baddies doing Russian baddie things. The poor Russians are probably just like, ugh, the Hollywood movie where we bad guy. Why are we bad guy? We just doing job here. Yeah, I would have loved to have actually seen the movie concentrate more on that. It does go back to, you know, Lena Headey towards the end, but for a while it just felt like the Karen Gillan show, which wasn't a bad thing. It was just, most of the movie, her priority is to protect this little 8-year-old girl. I just didn't care. It didn't feel like it was as monumental as it should have been. This movie for me just never picked up that much steam because I felt as if there was nothing of interest that the characters were actually doing. I like the characters. I mean, yeah, she makes some terrible decisions here and there, but I feel like we all just make terrible decisions. Like, if you were put in this position, you would probably make a bad decision. Maybe multiple bad decisions, so I can let it fly, but I don't want to hang out with an 8-year-old who's being taught how to drive for most of the movie. That just wasn't interesting and it wasn't funny. It didn't add anything to the movie. The movie also is very conflicted with its tone. It feels like it's this very dark, grim type of movie when the action is not going down. Then when the action scenes kick in, we get, I don't want to say rowdy music. I'm trying to find the correct word, but I guess more whimsical music. I guess whimsical is the word to use. A more whimsical musical score when the action is throwing down. We're seeing Karen Gillan kick ass. And for me, that just conflicted because I was like, all right, now we're going from something super serious to something that feels like it's super silly. This movie didn't really know what it was. John Wick knew exactly what it was. This movie's tone is just all over the place. And it didn't sit well with me. The way I equate this movie, since it is called Gunpowder Milkshake, we're gonna make some food references here. The way I equate this movie is that I wanted it to be like a vanilla ice cream cone with rainbow sprinkles from Dairy Queen. Rainbow sprinkles are key. Ice cream is no good without rainbow sprinkles. You put rainbow sprinkles on my ice cream cone. Instead, it ended up being a sour banana split that's been sitting on your counter for 5 days. Jesus, that just sounds terrible. I bet you even Donkey Kong would say that sucks. Dude, he's a monkey. He loves bananas. I bet Donkey Kong would take one bite of that banana split and say, this is ass. I'm not saying this movie's ass, but I'm saying it disappointed me. I bet Donkey Kong would say it was ass, though, so I'm just gonna say I'm gonna give Gunshake... Wait, Gunshake? It's not the title of the movie. I'm gonna say I will give Milkshake Gunpowder... Oh, I did it again. Third time is the charm. I'm going to say you will enjoy Gunpowder Milkshake. There we go. Got it correct this time. Was stale popcorn. This was a rough movie to get through, and I didn't think it was gonna be this rough. I wanted to see some women kick ass, and they do. Even the supporting characters, Michelle Yeoh, Carla Gugino, Lena Headey, they even kick ass in this movie. It's just the scenes with them though are few and far between, and I wanted to see more of them, but they do kick ass. Karen Gillan was really good. I like the action scenes and the creativity behind the action scenes. It's just the rest of the movie's just all over the place. I mean, what did you guys think of Gunpowder Milkshake? Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.